Good morning to all of you. So today we have to start our lecture with the topic DC load line and modes of operation. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as per the topic, it is mentioned that what is the mention is first of all we have take a little bit review what we have learned in the last week. So we have learned the operation of MOSFET, construction of MOSFET, operation of MOSFET, as well as we have little bit see the DC analysis of the common source circuit using N-channel enhancement type MOSFET. Now, same circuit would be convey here, and we have to be define DC load line and also learn what are the modes of operation. So here, if we have to be seeing this topic, we have to use this circuit diagram that is same as common source circuit. We have already seen this circuit diagram in the last lecture, and that is this is the circuit which is DC equivalent of NMOS common source circuit. And here one more thing we have done, we have allocated the value of VDD, that is 5 volt, values of the biasing resistors R1 that is 30 kilo ohm, R2 20 kilo ohm, load resistor or drain resistor is here RD 20 kilo ohm, and also the drain current ID that is equal to 0.1 milliampere, VDS that is as per the formula it would become 3 volt. As well as the VGS there is a 2 volt. So these are the some modifications that we have done in our DC equivalent circuit of the common source configuration as per our requirement to define the DC load, and this value has been given for the sake of simplicity to draw the DC load line. So if you have to see the load line, DC load line or load line is here helpful in visualizing the region in which MOSFET is biased. So load line is basically helpful for visualizing on which region your MOSFET is biased or on which region your MOSFET is working. So here we have considered common source circuit. To draw the load line, we have to be first write the load line equation. So if you have to see the previous lecture, by using the Kirchhoff's voltage law of KVL around the drain to source loop, we have defined equation number 3. I would be rewrite the equation here also, which is a load line equation actually, and that equation would be showing the linear relationship between the drain current and drain to source voltage. So how to write the load line equation? By using the KVL around the drain to source loop, means output loop. So starting from the VDD, if you have to be seen the circuit, I think all of you have drawn the circuit on your notebook because it is very much important to understand this. So starting from the VDD, go through the drain of terminal of the MOSFET and across the source to the ground. This is the output loop of that common source circuit where we are going to apply the KVL. So as per the KVL, what is the equation here? VDD minus IDRD minus VDS is equal to 0. Okay, it is very much clear from the diagram also. If you have to be see here, we have to be start from this VDD minus IDRD minus VDS is equal to 0 up to ground point. Okay, so we know that what is the KVL says that the sum of all voltage drop across the closed loop is equal to 0. Okay, here also the same situation is there, that's why we have defined this equation. Now further we have to be again rewrite this equation and define the equation of VDS. So if you have to see rearranging this equation, so VDS is equal to what? VDD minus IDRD. This equation is nothing but the similar equation to the equation 3 in the previous lecture, and it is called as the load line equation. Okay. Now we have to be further modified this. This is the DC load line curve is there. Okay. So before going to this particular diagram, we have to be little bit further rewrite this equation. And if you have to be going to further rewrite this equation, we have to be convert this equation in a straight line equation. As per the coordinate geometry, we are very much aware of the straight line equation, that is equal to y is equal to mx plus c. I think all of you have learned this equation in the coordinate geometry. So as per this equation given in the slide, always in the IB characteristics, ID is considered as a y and voltage term here VDS is considered as a x. So I would be rearrange this equation in terms of y is equal to mx plus c. So for that purpose, I have to rewrite this equation, and y is here ID is equal to what happens? We have to be take the ID on the left hand side of this equation and VDS at the right hand side. So it would be minus, and after rearranging we have to see that 1 upon RD into VDS. See, right? You also write on your notebook. This is very important relationship. And here again another term is what present, VDD upon RD. When you rearrange this equation would become as finally. This is also called the load line equation. We have just rewrite this load line equation to match it similar with the y is equal to mx plus c. So here ID is what? Here ID is y, and VDS is what? VDS is x. It is x. Okay. And what is the c? That is the constant term or intercept, that is equal to your, this is your c. And the remaining term is m. So what is m is here? Means slope of the straight line. This minus 1 upon RD, it is called is your slope m. So now you can see easily from this interpretation, this equation has converted in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Okay. Now we can easily indicate these terminologies on your diagram. So in the next slide, if you have to see, this is the diagram, that is nothing but the IB characteristics first. To draw a load line, we have to be first draw the IB characteristics of the MOSFET. Here we are using a N-channel enhancement type MOSFET. So our IB characteristics has been drawn between the y-axis is the ID and x-axis as a VDS. So here we have used this. This is your y and this is your x. Okay. Now, as per the previous equation, ID is equal to minus 1 upon RD into VDS plus VDD upon RD. So that would be nothing but a straight line equation, and that straight line is nothing but a load line is here. Okay. So we have to be first define the extreme points of this load line. Then and then only we are able to draw this straight line. This is the straight line that is I am talking about. This is the load line actually. Okay. So how to draw this straight line or this load line on the IB characteristics term that is already given here. So for that purpose, we have to be required to define the y-axis maximum value, that is called the ID maximum. How to define ID maximum? Can anyone give me the idea how to define? In the equation y is equal to mx plus c, How we have to be define the Y max? Here Y is nothing but ID. Anyone? How to find the ID max or Y max in this straight line equation? Anyone know the logic behind it? Anyone can speak? No answer. Okay, I would tell you. See, to find the Y maximum, we have to be put x is equal to 0. We have to be put x is equal to 0. Okay. So when you have to put x is equal to 0, y would be become y max. Okay. Similarly, if you have to find out the x is equal to maximum, so for that purpose, you have to be put y is equal to 0. This is your x means VDS max. VDS max. Okay. This is VDS max. Okay. Now, when you have to be put in that equation, see, this is the equation there. VDS equal to VDD minus RD. 5 minus, we have already taken the value of VDD 5 volt, and RD is defined as a 20K, and ID is also defined as a 0.1 milliampere. So in this case, we have to find the ID equation. So it is very much similar. Minus 1 upon RD, yani minus 1 upon 20 into VDS plus VDD is 5 upon 20. This is the given here, equation number 5 and 6. Okay, that we have already learned, but just we have put up the numerical values so that easily we can find out the ID max. Now that is plotted in the equation. So we have to find out the ID max. We have to put the VDS is equal to 0. When you have to be required ID max, you have to be put VDS is equal to 0, that is x here. So ID max would be become here, ID maximum would be become 5 upon 20. When VDS is 0, so ID max is equal to what? VDD upon RD. So 5 upon 20, that is 0.25 milliampere. Okay. Similarly, when you have to find out the VDS max, so ID is equal to 0, and you would be get VDS max, that is nothing but is equal to VDD as per the equation. Okay. So as per the equation, it is very much clear. When your VDS is equal to 0, ID max 5 upon 20, 0.25 milliampere. When you have to find out the VDS max, it is ID is equal to 0. If ID is equal to 0, then it would be become VDS is equal to 5. Okay, very simple. Now, in this case, again we have to be come to this diagram. We have defined the ID max, that is nothing but 0.25 milliampere as per our calculation, and VDS max is nothing but the VDD, that is equal to 5 volts. That's why this 2 point has been shown in this particular graph. Now, we have to be now draw a straight line between this ID max and VDS max, and this pink line. This is the pink line. This is nothing but your straight line would be formed between this particular 2 points. Okay. So this is nothing but it is called as a load line plotted on the ID VDS curve or ID VDS characteristic. Now, one question arises that why it is called the load line, or why it is called a DC load line also. So first of all, the answer is DC means direct current conditions. So in this particular drawing to this particular IV characteristics as well as this straight line, we have only used the DC condition. There is no interference of the AC conditions. All voltage sources are DC. That's why it is called the DC. And second one is a load line. Why it is called a load line? Because this straight line depends upon the load resistor. Here the load resistor is RD. How it depends upon the load resistance? If you have to see the slope of this particular load line, this is what? As per the equation, minus 1 upon RD. So here the negative sign indicates that the slope is greater than 90 degree. That is easily visible on the diagram. It is nearly 135 degree nearby. So it is greater than 90 degree. That's why it is negative first. Second, if you have to see this, this slope would be depend upon the inversely proportional to the RD or load resistance. That's why it is called a load line. Okay. So when you have to take the slope also, you can easily find out this value. Any 2 points you have to be put up in this particular straight line, that would be nothing but would be a ratio of del ID upon del VDS. Okay. When you have to be invert this del VDS upon del ID, that is a resistance as per the Ohm's law. And this resistance is nothing but the load resistance RD. That's why it is called the DC load line. So what is the importance of DC load line? The importance of the DC load line is that it would be helpful to indicate or indicate the transistor is biased in which region. Okay, we are here doing all this stuff so that our transistor would be act as an amplifier. Okay, and when it is possible, when our transistor would be act as an amplifier, when it is biased in the saturation region. Now we have to be see what are the different regions of in this through this particular diagram. Okay, so when you have to be see this particular regions are there. The first condition is that we have to know the 3 regions of operation. What are these 3 regions of operation? Cutoff, non-saturation, and saturation. So when your gate to source voltage is less than threshold voltage, then it is called as it is working in the cutoff region. So if it is gate to source voltage is less than threshold, the drain current is 0 and transistor is in cutoff. But as the gate to source voltage becomes greater than the threshold, the transistor turns on and is biased in saturation region. And this could be easily visible. And as the VGS would be increases, your Q point moves up the load line. You can see from the diagram also. Okay. If you have to see this particular diagram, first this is the cutoff region. Why this is cutoff region? Because here VGS is less than VTN and ID is 0. So this is the kind of position where your ID is 0. This is called the cutoff. This is the area where your ID is nearly 0. That's why this is called the cutoff region. But as your VGS is increases, where is your VGS? You have to see the ID VDS curve. Where is your VGS? You have to see the ID VDS curve. So in this case, as you increasing the VGS, this is the value of the VGS, first VGS value. There is a 3 curve has been drawn here. If you have to see, first is this is when your VGS is equal to suppose 1 volt, then 2 volt, and then it is a 3 volt. Okay. So as per the calculation, if you have to see, here the VGS is equal to 2 volt is considered as a quiescent gate to source voltage. Now, what is the term quiescent? It is indicated in this particular graph. The term is the quiescent. Okay. And so, what is the quiescent is here? Anyone know about the quiescent point or Q point? Its another name is that operating point. So whenever we have to plot the DC load line over the IV characteristics of any transistor, so this load line would be intersect the IV characteristics curve on certain points, and the point where it would be intersect, that particular point is called the operating point of that transistor. Okay. So here we have drawn the 3 curves, but actually as per the value we have taken, like VDD is equal to 5, R1, R2 and RD values, we have come to the conclusion that our transistor is working at the VGS that is equal to 2 volts. So that's why we have to be taken VGS is equal to 2 volt as a VGS_Q. So in this particular curve, the second curve where the DC load line is intersecting, this is called the Q point here. Okay. So here it is a Q point or operating point. What is the purpose of operating point? To indicate the operating point. The purpose of indicating the operating point is that it would be indicate in which region your transistor is working. First of all, Q point is a stable point, okay, and it does not change its value. It would be represent the value of voltage and current that is flowing on the across the transistor, and that is a stable value of the voltage and current. Here the main concern voltage and current is the ID is the current, that is the drain current, and VDS is the output voltage that is fixed on that particular Q point. So Q point would be provide the stability of the operation of the transistor. Okay. So, and also it would be indicate that where your transistor is working. We will be see little bit as further we have to move to the discussion. So now we have to define the cutoff voltage as we move above when VGS is greater than threshold, that is the VGS equal to 2 volt. So you have to also define the Q point here. Now when you would be, and this is Q point is situated in which region? This is called the saturation region. Immediately when your VGS is greater than VTM, you would be see that your transistor is enter into the saturation region directly, or it is acting as an amplifier. Okay, in this region it is only possible that it is working as an amplifier, and that is our main purpose of design. Now there is a one more concept that is called the transition point. How to define that this transition point is here? How to define this transition point? If you have to be see on the graph, we know that in the previous lecture discussion on the MOS transistor operation, when your VGS is greater than threshold, transistor is on, but when your VDS is less than VDS sat, it is working on the non-saturation region, and when VDS is greater than VDS sat, it is working in the saturation region. Okay, so this is the boundary condition between the non-saturation and saturation. So in the IV characteristics, it is very easy to locate the VDS sat. So for the first VGS, it is the VDS sat point. If this is the second VGS 2 volt, it is the VDS sat. And when the VGS is 3 volt, this is the VDS sat. So when you have to be draw a curve across this, matching this VGS sat values, so this would be become a transistor transition curve. It is called a transition curve, and when this transition curve would be intersect your DC load line, the point where it would be intersect the DC load line, this is called the transition point. And the value of the VDS, VDS in this particular transition point, it is equal to VDS sat, that is numerically equal to VGS minus VT. Okay. And when your Q point, the position of this Q point would be right hand side of this transition point, this is called the saturation region. And when your Q point would be moved above this transition point or left hand side of this saturation transition point, it is enter into the non-saturation. So it is acting as a boundary between saturation region and non-saturation region. This is very important concept. Okay, so Q point could be moved depending upon the value of VDS. Okay, so as VDS would be greater than the VDS sat, it would be in the saturation region. If it is less than the VDS sat, it is in the non-saturation region. Okay, so these are the three regions of operation also defined through this concept. Now we have to be see further. It is mentioned as VGS increases, Q point moves up the load line. Transition point is the boundary between the saturation and non-saturation region, and defined where VDS is equal to VDS sat, that is equal to VGS minus VT. We have already discussed. As VGS increases above transition point, it is enter into the non-saturation region. Okay. So these are the three main reasons of operations that we have to be learned on this particular concept, or you can see in this particular Anyone has any doubt up to this point? Because this is very important concept. DC load line as well as the you can see operating point. Okay. Anyone has any doubt on the up to this point? Please tell me. Anyone? You can raise your hand. You can ask directly the question to me related to this. One more information I want to share you that I have shared a Google form on your WhatsApp group AC Elect 2021, and you have to be fill this Google form within this lecture. When the lecture would be end, this Google form would be inactive. Okay, so just complete your Google. This is nothing but your attendance. So from today, I start the Google form for taking the attendance. Okay. Okay. Vaishnavi Shetty has raised the hand. What is your question? Please ask me. Vaishnavi Shetty. Okay. There is no question. I want. Okay. Before moving to the next, I will up to till we have learn about the DC operating conditions. Okay. Now I would be go to the problem that I have given. Lots of students have solved the problem and they have solved correctly. The answer is correct, but lots of students also not solved the problem till date. So whenever I would be give you some task, please complete that task. Still I have not given any assignment, but I would be giving further. Okay. See, so now we have to be go to that particular point that the question I have given you previously, and what is the question is there, we have to be here discuss again. I think all of you have ready with the notebook and pen. So that was the question I have asked in the previous lectures. Consider an N-channel enhancement mode MOSFET with following parameters. VTN is equal to 0.4 volt, W is equal to 20 micrometer, L is equal to 0.8 micrometer, and mu n is equal to 650 centimeter square per volt second, and TOX is equal to 200 angstrom. Epsilon naught x is equal to 3.9 into 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 14 farad per centimeter. You have to determine the current ID when the transistor is biased in saturation. For there is a 2 ID would become, because there is a 2 VGS has given. A VGS equal to 0.8 volt and B VGS equal to 1.6 volt. Okay. So what is the solution for this? Someone has solved and correctly solved they have, but now I would be discuss you. So first of all, we have to find out the value of the conduction parameter, that is capital Kn. And what is the formula for this? Mu n COX W by twice L. So all the values are given. W is given as a 20 micrometer. You have to be convert just 20 into 10 to the power minus 4 centimeter. Okay. And then mu n is given, that is a 650 volt square per centimeter. That's why we have converted into the centimeter W. And COX is what? That is epsilon naught x upon TOX. So this is epsilon naught x is given 3.9 into 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 14 upon TOX is what? This is 200 angstrom. So here for the 200 angstrom, 200 into 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter. Okay. And upon twice of L, L is 0.8 micrometer. So it is again converted into, all the parameter is converted into centimeters now. When you have to be calculate this, it would be become Kn is equal to 1.40 milliampere per volt square. Okay. So this is the value of conduction parameter. Once the conduction parameter is defined, it is very easy to find out the ID, because we know the formula of ID. ID is equal to Kn VGS minus VTN whole square. VTN is already given. VGS is also given in the question. And once you have find out the Kn, you can easily find out ID. So for VGS is equal to 0.8 volt, ID would be 0.224 milliampere from the calculation. Second one is when ID is equal to VGS equal to 1.6 volt, then ID would be become 2.02 milliampere. So these are the answer for the questions that I have previously given to you. I think now all of you are clear the concept. Yes or no? Everyone, please tell me.
Yes, sir.
For those who have not solved still, please note it down. Don't worry about the attendance. I would be also give you the extra 10 minutes after the lectures to complete your attendance. But first of all, we have to be go through this particular concept. Okay. Now we have to be moved to the next topic. Okay. So what are the next topic is there? We have discussed till the point of the DC analysis. Now we have to be discuss the AC equivalent circuit of the same concept is there. Same concept we have to be also discuss the AC equivalent circuit. AC equivalent. Now we have to see that what are the AC equivalent circuits. Now we have to be deal with the AC conditions. Okay. So what are the AC conditions? Initially, we assume that signal frequency is sufficiently low so that any capacitance at the gate terminal can be neglected, and the input to the gate thus appears as an open circuit. You can see from the diagram also. Okay. So what is in the diagram? If you have to be see here, in this diagram, first of all, I have to be discuss about the MOSFET, N channel enhancement type MOSFET. Then we have to be convert this AC equivalent circuit into the corresponding common source circuit. So if you have to be see in this diagram, so what is in the diagram? It in this diagram, this is the drain terminal, this is gate, and this is the source is. As it is, we are discussing the common source. We have to be take a source as a common. That is also in the input side of the circuit as well as at the output side of the circuit. And the current ID, small I and small d is indicating the AC current. Small v and small gs is means that it is a AC voltage. Okay, remember this. When you have to write the term is both are small, that is AC. And if you have to be write like this, capital V and capital G and capital S, this is called the DC. Okay, and if you have to be write like this, small v but capital G and capital S like this, it is called the combination of AC and DC. Similar with the current also. And also in the bracket here, these are the phasor representation. This is also indicating the AC value of the current and voltage, but it is called the phasor representation, where the capital letter and a small suffixes are. Okay. Now, so this is the general MOSFET N channel that is having the two-port network, that is one input port and another is the output port. In the input port, the voltage is VGS. In the output port, the voltage is VDS. Now here we have considered the signal frequency that we are going to apply the signal AC signal through the function generator. That would be a very low frequency. If it is having very low frequency, though, the reactance offered by the capacitance PC1 in the circuit diagram, if you have remember, it would be very high, or the resistance impedance offered by the capacitor would be very high, and it would be considered as an open circuit. That's why capacitor is not shown here. Okay, and when you have to be draw the AC equivalent circuit, if you have to be see here, in this case, we have to be first to draw the AC equivalent circuit. It is little bit tricky, and we have to be learn. First of all, you have to draw the three terminals. See the position. So in the leftmost side, you have to draw the gate terminal. Then the rightmost side of that parallel drain. At the bottom, you have to draw the source. And after this, as per this MOSFET structure, you have to draw. Source is common, to draw a straight line, like this straight line you have to draw. Okay, that is on the both side, input and output. Okay. Now, as we know that there is no resistor because input impedance is very high, so there is an open circuit. So we have to directly draw the VGS between gate to source terminal. Here also we have to draw the VGS, positive at the gate and negative at the source. Okay. Now, actually the time is very less now, so we have to discuss this concept in the next lecture. Otherwise, it would be not complete as the time is very few. Less than 1 minute is remaining. So we have to start from this point for the next lecture. Okay. And in the next lecture, I also give you the first question of the first assignment, so that you have to be complete. Okay. Thank you, all of you, for joining this particular lecture actually. Okay. In the next lecture, we have to discuss this in detail. Thank you all of you.